The strange wake-up. Jack Martin was a simple man now. After years of fighting in space wars, he had retired to a peaceful colony planet called Virel 7. The sky was always blue here, and his house was far from the busy city. He liked it that way, quiet, safe, and alone. But one morning, that peace shattered. Jack opened his eyes slowly, feeling a strange weight on his chest. Something was wrong. He wasn't dreaming. His vision cleared, and he saw her, an alien girl. She was on top of him, literally. Her knees were on the bed, one on each side of his waist, and her hands were pressed against his chest. Her big silver eyes stared into his with panic. Her skin was a soft lavender color, and her long white hair fell like a curtain over his face. She was breathing hard, her lips trembling. Jack froze. For a few seconds, neither of them moved. "What the hell?" he muttered. She jumped back, falling off the bed and landing on the floor with a thud. Sorry, I didn't mean, I was just protecting," she said in broken English, holding up her hands. "Protecting me?" Jack sat up, confused and half angry. "From what? You break into my room and sit on top of me while I'm asleep, and that's protection?" She shook her head quickly. "No break. I live here. Clean for you. Work here." That made Jack pause. Then it clicked. "Sira," he said, remembering the alien girl he hired just 4 days ago through a local service. She was supposed to be a quiet housekeeper. A little strange, yes, but polite and hard-working. The girl nodded quickly. "Yes, Sira. Your house. Your safe place." I heard noise. I came in. Something was inside. Jack's heart was still racing. What was inside? She looked toward the window. Something. Watching. It went away. He stood and walked over to the window. The glass was untouched, the moonlight spilling in softly. The forest outside was quiet. Nothing unusual. Jack didn't like this. He had built this house with advanced sensors, secure doors, and even hidden weapons. If something got in without triggering alarms, it wasn't ordinary. He turned back toward her. She was still sitting on the floor, her arms wrapped around herself. Her body was shaking slightly. "You okay?" he asked, voice softer now. She nodded slowly. "I tried to stop it, but it was fast." Jack stared at her for a moment. Something about her looked different. Her skin was glowing slightly. Her eyes had a strange shine. And her hands. He noticed the tiny slits on her fingertips. They weren't there before. "What are you?" he asked carefully. "I'm Housekeeper," she said with a weak smile, but it didn't sound honest. He didn't push further. "Not yet." "Get some rest," he said. "Tomorrow we talk, and we check those sensors." Sira nodded and stood up slowly. She walked toward her small room near the kitchen. Jack watched her until she disappeared down the hall. Once alone, he opened the hidden drawer in his bedside table and pulled out an old plasma pistol. He hadn't used it in years, but something told him he might need it soon. That night, Jack didn't sleep well. Every sound in the house made him alert. The silence felt heavier than usual, like something was watching. He replayed the moment in his mind, waking up with an alien girl on his chest, saying she was protecting him. Was she crazy, or was she telling the truth? The next morning, before Sira woke up, Jack checked the house's external security log. His eyes narrowed. There was a 2-second blackout in the surveillance feed at 3:14 a.m., just before he woke up. His heart sank. Something had been here, and only Sira had noticed. Jack didn't like mysteries, especially not in his own home. The security logs confirmed it. At exactly 3:14 a.m., all external cameras had gone dark for 2 seconds. Just 2 seconds, but that was more than enough for something skilled to get past his defenses. His system was built for war. Only a high-level cloaking device or advanced stealth creature could have avoided detection. and the only one who noticed it was Sira, the strange housekeeper. He walked to the kitchen quietly. The morning sun was soft on the floor tiles. Sira was there already, humming a soft alien tune. She was barefoot, cleaning the counters, her long white hair tied back. Jack watched. Her. She moved too gracefully, too precisely. "You didn't sleep?" he asked. Sira looked up, a little startled. "I rested a little, not long. You said something was inside the house last night. Do you remember what it looked like?" Her face grew serious. It was tall. Black skin, like metal. Red eyes. It had no smell. Moved like a shadow. Jack's blood ran cold. "You sure?" She nodded. "I've seen them before." Jack took a deep breath. "Where?" She hesitated, then said softly, "In the lab, where I was made." Silence filled the kitchen. Jack set his coffee down. "Lab, you mean born?" Sira looked down. "No, not born, created. I was made for service and defense. I escaped last year, changed my ID, hired myself out as house help. I thought I was safe here." Jack stared at her. "Why didn't you tell me?" She looked at him, her silver eyes full of something he couldn't name. "Because if you knew, you would send me away, like the others did." Jack leaned on the counter. "You're not just a housekeeper, are you?" She shook her head. "No, I was built to protect, to serve. I was part of Project Zenta 9, a hybrid of several races, strong reflexes, fast healing, light-sensitive vision. But I hated the lab. They treated us like tools, not people." She turned around slowly and lifted the back of her shirt. Jack saw it. A barcode burned into her skin. His military instincts kicked in. He knew that tag. That was a war lab experiment. Illegal on all core worlds. No wonder she ran. "No one should be owned," Jack said quietly. "But if those Black Shadow things followed you here, then you've got bigger problems, and so do I." Sira's voice was soft. "I never wanted to bring trouble. I just wanted to clean, cook, and live." Jack chuckled. "You picked the wrong house. Trouble follows me." He paused. "Sira, tell me something. Why were you on top of me when I woke up?" She blushed, skin turning a light blue. "Because I heard it. In your room. It was reaching for you. I didn't know what else to do. I threw myself between you and it, then it vanished." "You used yourself as a shield?" She nodded. "That's what I'm made to do." Jack looked at her. This girl, no, this hybrid, wasn't lying. She had instincts to protect. Maybe too strong. But she had chosen to save him without command. That made her different. That made her human. He picked up his old military wristband. "All right," he said. "If they're coming, we prepare." Sira tilted her head. "You're not sending me away?" "No," Jack said firmly. "But I'm upgrading the security. And I want you to tell me everything about that lab. If they know where you are, they won't stop." Sira smiled for the first time. A small, shy smile. "Yes, Jack," she said. "I will help. I don't want you to get hurt because of me." He nodded. "Good. Then let's get started." They worked side by side. Jack couldn't help but notice something strange. Every time he looked into her eyes, he didn't see a machine. He saw a soul. The day passed in silence. Jack spent hours checking every sensor and trap on the property. Sira helped him without needing to be told. She moved fast, faster than any human, but always stayed quiet, like a shadow that worked for peace, not harm. But something felt off. Even after all upgrades, Jack couldn't shake the feeling that the thing from last night was still nearby, watching, waiting. As the sun dropped behind the trees, a red glow filled the sky. Jack looked out the window. A storm was building, but not of clouds. A ship, small, black, and silent. It hovered for only a second, then vanished again. "Did you see that?" Jack asked. Sierra stood still. Her eyes had narrowed. It's them, she said. That night Jack didn't sleep. He sat on the couch with his old plasma rifle across his lap. Sierra sat beside him, eyes glowing faintly in the dark. Her senses were tuned for danger. And tonight, every bone in her body screamed ready. At exactly 2 a.m., the house went cold. Not from the weather, but from something else. The power flickered, then died. Jack cursed under his breath and reached for the emergency light. That's when they heard it. Tap, tap, tap from the ceiling. Sierra stood up slowly, her body tensed. It's here. Without another word, she sprinted into the hallway, faster than Jack could follow. He heard a crash, then metal ripping. He ran after her. Down the hallway, the air was colder. A long scratch now marked the ceiling. The lights flickered back for just a second, and in that second, Jack saw it. A creature, tall, jet black, no eyes, no mouth, just skin like armor and long clawed fingers. It moved like liquid shadow. Jack raised his rifle and fired. The bolt hit, but passed through like mist. Damn it, he yelled. The creature reached out, but Sierra was faster. She launched at it, her body glowing bright white, slamming it against the wall. Sparks flew, it shrieked, not in sound but in pressure. Jack felt his ears bleed slightly. The thing vanished in a blur, leaving only cracks in the walls. Sierra dropped to one knee, shaking. Are you okay? Jack asked, running to her. She nodded. It wasn't a full unit, just a scout. A scout? He said. Then more are coming. She looked up at him, eyes glowing silver blue. Yes, they know I'm here. Jack helped her stand. Then, we need to know what they want. She hesitated, then whispered something he didn't expect. They don't want me alive, Jack. They want my body, my code, my design. I'm not just a failed escapee. I'm the key to something they built and lost. He stared at her, shocked. You mean, you're a weapon? She nodded. Not just any weapon. I'm the prototype, the first hybrid to feel emotions. I was their experiment, but I broke the rules. I learned compassion. They saw it as a flaw. Jack looked at the black mark on the wall where the creature vanished. No wonder they're hunting you. You're more human than they ever wanted you to be. Sierra's eyes softened. And I'll protect this house, even if I have to die doing it. Jack placed a firm hand on her shoulder. Not alone. Next time, we fight together. In the dark silence of the broken hallway, something unspoken passed between them. Not soldier to machine, not master to servant, but protector to protector. The sun rose, but Jack's home still felt like night. The walls were cracked. The air smelled of burnt circuits and ozone. He sat quietly on the back porch, rifle in his lap, staring into the forest beyond the clearing. He wasn't used to feeling hunted. Inside, Sierra sat alone, her arms wrapped around her knees. She hadn't spoken much since the creature disappeared. Her thoughts were buried deep, far back to the place where she was made. Jack entered, placing a cup of hot brew in front of her. Talk to me, he said gently. Everything. No more. Hiding. She looked up slowly. If I tell you, you'll see me as a threat. I've fought real threats, he said. You're not one of them. Sierra took a breath. Her voice was soft but steady. I was built on Nethros 9, a lab far from the core worlds. They didn't want to make machines anymore. They wanted living weapons, creatures that could heal, obey, adapt. I was their first attempt to blend flesh, memory and code. Jack sat beside her listening. I was supposed to be perfect, she continued. Fast, loyal, emotionless. But something went wrong. I began feeling things I wasn't meant to. Pity, sadness, fear, and kindness. She looked at Jack. One of the scientists used to bring me tea. He didn't order me. He asked, gently. That day something changed in me. I realized I had a choice. You escaped, Jack said. I ran during a transfer. Took damage, almost died in the cold, but I learned to survive. Hid my tag, changed my skin pattern, and pretended to be nothing more than help. Jack stared at her in silence. Then he said, "That's why you reacted when I yelled at you that first day. You thought I was like them." Sierra nodded. "But you weren't. You spoke softly. You fixed the heater in my room. You left tea outside my door. I didn't know how to process that." Jack smiled faintly. Maybe that's what being human really means. Suddenly, a loud ping echoed from the wall console. Jack ran over and checked the display. A signal, a tight band transmission, coming from orbit, encrypted, not civilian, not legal. "They found you again," Jack said grimly. Sierra stood up slowly. Her eyes glowed brighter. "They'll send more than just a scout this time." Jack looked at her, really looked. She stood tall now. Not a scared girl, but a weapon shaped by pain, learning to become something more. "I have to leave," she said. "If I stay, they'll destroy everything around me." Jack stepped forward. "No," she blinked, surprised. "No? You're not going anywhere. If you run, they'll keep chasing you planet to planet, colony to colony. You'll never be free." "Then what do we do?" she asked. Jack cracked his neck. "We stop running. We fight back." She tilted her head. "You'll fight for me?" "No," Jack said with a grin. "With you." For the first time, Sierra smiled fully, not a polite smile, a real one. "Then we build a trap," she said. "And we make sure no one leaves this place without learning what I've become." The storm came before the ships. Clouds gathered thick over the forest as thunder rolled through the mountains. Jack stood on the roof of his home, welding the last of the plasma turrets into place. His mind wasn't calm, but it was focused. Below him, Sierra worked silently, her hands moving like a machine, digging defense trenches and setting sensor mines. She no longer moved like a frightened girl. She moved like a warrior, like someone who had nothing left to run from. The sky turned red. 3 black dots appeared on the horizon, small ships moving low and fast, not civilian. Silent, armed, and hunting. Sierra looked up. "Hunter-class skimmers," she said. "Each one holds 5 soldiers, bio-trackers, armor-piercing claws. They won't ask questions." Jack nodded. "Good. I don't feel like talking today." They activated the house's defense grid. Lights flickered across the property. Drones rose from underground. The ground itself hummed, an old war design Jack had built for safety, never expecting to use it again. But this wasn't just about survival anymore. This was personal. At sunset, the first ship touched down. 5 tall figures stepped out. They wore cloaks of shadow fabric, faces covered by black metal masks. One of them stepped forward and spoke in a hollow voice. "Return the prototype," it demanded, "and you will not be harmed." Jack stepped out of his home, rifle across, his back, hands calm. "You'll have to take her," he said. The hunter tilted its head. "Unwise." Behind Jack, Sierra appeared, but something had changed. Her usual soft skin had shifted. Now it shimmered with a silver-gray tone. Her veins, glowing like circuits, her eyes burned with white fire. For the first time, she looked like what she was made to be, a hybrid weapon. "I'm not going back," she said clearly. "Not ever." The lead hunter took a step forward. Jack raised his hand. The trap was set, with a loud click. The ground under the lead hunter exploded upward, launching it into the air. Drones fired, plasma bolts raining down from the roof. The remaining hunters scattered. Sierra moved like lightning. She charged into one of the hunters, flipping him through the air and slamming him into a steel post. Another reached for Jack, but he ducked and shot a blast into its leg, spinning it to the ground. But they kept coming. These weren't simple soldiers. They were trained, fast, and enhanced. Jack took cover behind a crate. He was bleeding from his shoulder. "Sierra," he called out. "They're adapting." "I know," she shouted back. "We have 60 seconds before the next wave." More ships appeared in the clouds above. Jack grinned bitterly. Then we make every second count. They fought together side by side, machine and man. Sierra slammed her fist into a hunter's chest, cracking the armor. Jack rolled between two attackers, firing shots that hit weak joints. For every one they dropped, another took its place. Jack was running out of ammo. Sierra's energy was fading. Her glow flickered. Then one of the hunters caught her from behind, slamming her into the ground. She gasped, trying to stand, but her legs trembled. The hunter raised a clawed hand, aiming for her neck. Jack screamed, "No!" He ran full speed, slamming into the hunter with his full weight, knocking it back. But he was slow now. His wound bled hard. The hunter recovered and raised its weapon toward Jack. Suddenly, a piercing sound filled the air, high-pitched, electric. The hunter froze, shaking violently, then collapsed. Sierra stood behind it, hand outstretched, her fingers glowing with raw white energy. Her eyes were different now. Alive. Awake. "Stay down," she whispered. She helped Jack up. "You okay?" he asked, panting. She nodded. I remembered who I really am. Above them, the last ship hovered, its doors opening. Jack looked up. "This isn't over." Sierra clenched her fists. "No, but we're ready now." The final ship hovered like death itself. Its engines roared low, shaking the trees. Dust rose across the field. Jack and Sierra stood side by side, bleeding, tired, but still standing. The door of the ship hissed open. From the dark interior stepped a new figure. Not a hunter, not a soldier, but something worse. A tall being with silver skin, no face, and long wires flowing like hair. Its chest glowed with a red core, pulsing like a heart. It moved slowly, like it had all the time in the universe. Sierra stepped forward. Her voice was firm. "Unit ZK-1. Jack looked at her. "You know him?" She nodded. "He was the one who trained me, the one who called emotions a virus." The figure spoke at last, its voice both deep and cold. "You disappointed us, Sierra. You were designed to serve, and now you protect a human?" Jack raised his rifle. "You came all this way just to insult us?" The machine ignored him. "Come with me, Sierra. Your code must be extracted. We'll delete your errors and start again." Sierra's eyes narrowed. "You'll have to delete me first." Without warning, Unit ZK-1 raised its hand. A pulse of red light shot out. Jack and Sierra dove in opposite directions as the blast melted part of the ground. Jack rolled behind a wall, panting. "That thing isn't like the others." Sierra's voice came through the comm. "It's not. He's stronger, smarter, but not unbeatable." Jack peeked around the wall. "Got a plan?" "I do. But you're not going to like it." Sierra dashed toward the enemy, moving like a blur. She dodged a second pulse and leapt, landing a strike on Unit ZK-1's chest. But it barely moved. Its arms lashed out, grabbing her and slamming her into the dirt. Jack screamed her name. She didn't respond. ZK-1 turned toward Jack. "You're just a human. Why do you fight for her?" Jack stood up slowly, even as blood dripped from his side. "Because she's more human than you'll ever be." He aimed his plasma rifle, right at the red core in ZK-1's chest, and fired. The blast struck, pushing the machine back. Sparks flew. Sierra groaned and rolled away. Her systems were failing, her vision blurry. She looked up through cracked lenses. "Jack." ZK-1 stepped forward again, slower now, sparks crawling along its body. Jack kept firing. "Come on, you metal freak." Just as ZK-1 raised its hand for a killing blow, Sierra screamed, her body lit up with white energy. She pushed off the ground, sprinted forward and tackled ZK-1 with everything she had. They crashed into the side of the ship. The wall caved in. She looked into his face, blank, emotionless. "You want my code? Take it." Then she reached up and tore the barcode from her back, ripping it out in a burst of pain and electricity. K1 froze. Its systems went into overload. Jack grabbed Syrah and pulled her back just before the red core exploded in a wave of energy. The ship collapsed. Flames rose high. Jack and Syrah lay in the dirt coughing, alive. She was barely conscious. Did we win? Jack smiled weakly. You did. I just provided background noise. She chuckled softly. You saved me, she whispered. No, Jack said, holding her hand. You saved yourself. I just reminded you why. They looked at the burning wreckage. The last hunter was gone. The war was over. Smoke still drifted from the ruins of the final hunter ship. The forest around Jack's house was scorched, and the air smelled like melted steel and burned circuits. But there was peace. Real peace. Jack stood near the edge of the field, hammering the last plank into a rebuilt fence. He was sore, stitched and bruised, but alive. A week had passed since the battle. No more signals, no more shadows, just quiet mornings again. But he wasn't alone anymore. Syrah stepped out of the house, holding 2 cups of hot brew. Her long white hair was tied neatly. She no longer wore the servant uniform. Instead, Jack had helped her sew a proper outfit. Part armor, part comfort, and all her own. Her skin had healed. The barcode on her back was gone. Forever. Jack took a cup and smiled. Thanks, Commander. Syrah tilted her head. Commander? Well, Jack said with a grin, you led the final charge, saved the day, and tore your own code out of your spine. I think that earns you the title. She looked down and smiled shyly. Then, what does that make you? He sipped and thought. Just the guy who woke up with his housekeeper on top of him. Syrah laughed, really laughed, for the first time since she'd arrived. Later that night, under the stars, Jack lit a small fire. The sky was clear. No ships, no threats, just peace. Syrah sat beside him, watching the flames. Do you think they'll come again? She asked. Jack poked the fire with a stick. Maybe, but if they do, we'll be ready. Syrah looked thoughtful. I don't want to hide anymore. I want to live. Really live. You're free now, Jack said. You can go anywhere. She turned to him. But I don't want to go anywhere. Jack met her gaze. Her silver eyes glowed softly in the firelight. You sure? She nodded. This house. It became more than just a hiding place. It became home. Because of you. Jack felt something stir in his chest. A warmth he hadn't known in years. You're welcome here always. She took his hand gently. Then let's make it a home for others too. There are more like me out there, lost, afraid, hunted. Jack raised an eyebrow. You want to start a rescue mission? I want to give them what you gave me, she said. A second chance. Jack smiled. Then let's build something bigger than a fence. 1 year later, the house had changed. It was now a sanctuary, a hidden place in the forest of Virel 7 where hybrids, runaways, and castouts could find peace. Jack trained them. Syrah mentored them. Some had strange abilities, some were still learning to speak. But none were alone. At the heart of it all, Jack and Syrah stood together. Warrior and weapon, protector and protected, human and hybrid, no longer afraid. They had turned their pain into purpose, and in the quiet, far away from the noise of the galaxy, they had finally created something rare. Hope.